Two.
Big 17.
Okay. Nicole Atkins here with Pace Magazine, and I'm here with Rich Furet of Buffalo Springfield.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Hey, glad to be out here in the heat with you today, Nicole.
We just, Rich and I just did a press conference with Steven Stills and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Jerry from Ben & Jerry's. Yeah. That was weird, huh?
It was. I mean, looking at this guy. This guy's a giant.
He is a giant.
You know?
I got a picture with him, and I'm a quarter of his size.
Oh, gosh.
I look like a troll.
Yeah.
But anyway, so how does it feel to be back playing with your guys, after all this time?
We're having such a great time. I think reconnecting with one another, because literally we didn't, even communicate that much over the 43-year period of time that we haven't been together. And so to just reconnect and then find out how easy it really could have been if we would have just been smart back in the day, maybe.
Yeah, well, you guys were little.
Yeah, we were young whippersnappers.
Yeah, little guys. But how did that come about? I know you did, the first show was at the Bridge School benefit. And were you planning on just doing the Bridge School benefit as a one-off? Or
I think that's the way we definitely had to get into it.
Yeah.
You can't plan ahead with something like that. Doing the Bridge School benefit was not on my radar at all, anywhere. People would ask me, you ever think Buffalo Springfield's going to get together again? And it would be no. And I've learned never to say no again.
Yeah.
Neil called me and said, Stephen and I have talked, and I think if you want to do the Bridge School, that we would all, we'd like to do it this year if it's free. But we don't have to do it this year. We can do it next year or the next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, we're like,
just keep it in your mind.
Who knows what's going to happen next year?
Yeah.
Let's do it now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that must be a trip, to revisit something that was, that made your life.
Yeah. But you know what? It was so easy when we did get together. That was the thing that amazed me. There was no anxiety, no anticipation when the three of us got together. It was absolutely smooth sailing.
That's great.
That's why we're doing this.
Now, do you still use the same gear that you were using back then? Like, what's your preference?
Neil uses his equipment, that is from back in the day. I came in with all this new stuff, and he wasn't going to stand for it. He set me up with a little, with a Fender. What is a Deluxe?
Nice.
And real nice. And so I had to catch up with them by going back, because I came in with all this new stuff, and it's like,
the old stuff
that's
sounds
not going to work,
Yeah, I mean, the old stuff is ideal because I guess it ages better.
It's got a great sound. I'm so glad. I'm trying to get it from him now.
No, I'm sure he could give it to you.
You think he would, huh?
Yeah.
I'll tell him you said it was okay.
Tell Neil Young I said it's cool. What else did I want to ask you? So, being in a band in the beginning, like with 3 songwriters, did that create like a really competitive place to, always try to kind of one-up each other on a song? It's like, oh, you got this song? Well, I got this one. What was that like, being in a band with 3 songwriters in it?
It took me the first album to just, these guys have written all these songs that we're going to do, and I'm still writing some songs. I'm thinking, is there a place for me to fit in? And for me to get my first song recorded was an accident.
Really?
Yeah, I was
what
sitting
happened?
in the studio waiting for the guys to come, and I was just playing this folk song basically called Sad Memory.
Yeah.
And Neil, I heard he came in and pulled down the talk back and said, we got to record that song now, And so that was actually my introduction to actually being able to write some songs.
Were you too nervous to show them at first?
No. We were all showing songs, but these guys were a little more aggressive and a little more advanced,
Yeah.
and I loved their songs. Of course, I wanted, to have an opportunity to do some of my songs, and it came in time. If it didn't come in time with Buffalo Springfield, it surely came in time with Poco afterwards, and so.
But Jim Messina was in Poco too. Yeah. It's so funny. The first time I ever won a radio station contest, it was like, if you're the 9th caller, blah, blah, blah. And I was working at this ice cream parlor in Jersey, and I called, and they're like, you win a Loggins and Messina CD. And I was like, 13. And I was like, who's that?
Yeah.
But I was so psyched. I was like, I won something.
Yeah, very cool.
But yeah. So I'm really excited for your set. Now you have 4 more shows with them after this?
No, we're done.
Oh, you're done. This is it.
We're done until fall.
Okay, and you're going to do another tour.
But we have decided that because everybody has enjoyed each other and enjoyed, just playing the music again, and the response from the the audience and the reviewers too.
Yeah.
It's been so good that we've decided we're going to do 30 shows in the fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
If you
looking
need an
forward to
opener.
there you go.
But I was going to say, when I was talking to my friend Chad, who is part of Bonnaroo, about, they were saying, what headliners are we going to get? We were at brunch, and he's like, Buffalo, Springfield. And I was like, shut up. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, my God,
Yeah.
So
I think it was kind of, this was the real anchor to do the 6 shows that we did in California. I mean, it was kind of like preparation, get over the whatever it is that you got to get over and get to, the work. So the 6 shows that we did in California were for preparation for Bonnaroo. I mean, we know that this is a pretty significant event, and we're happy to be here.
It's a big deal place.
Yeah.
So when you're home, let me ask you one more thing. When you're home, like, what's your routine? Like, how do you like to work or relax?
I'm a pastor.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, and so I it's like I lead a double life.
Now, do you do a lot of music at your church? Or?
Yeah, and my worship team is actually my band that goes out and plays the Richie Furay 40 years of music, and it's really a good band. My daughter's in it.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So family
so
band.
There is a
roots.
family aspect of it. We like to call ourselves multi-generational because my lead guitar player, his son plays bass.
That's so
and so
fun.
it does. It keeps us young, but it keeps the music fresh and alive with us too. So it's there's the church, but then, we like to go out and we like to play, so it's just a routine of music,
It
it's
just
really
sounds
cool.
a good way to bond with your family and your friends.
Absolutely. The
That's
church
super
is
cool.
very supportive, which has been very cool for me too, to let
And do
me
you
go
do
out
you
and do
pick
it.
different, aspects of music to bring into, the music you play in your church, like, gospel or, like spiritual?
We actually write a lot of the music that we do ourselves. Yeah.
And what kind of styles are influential?
To be honest with you, the style is whatever my style has been, and I think people would probably associate me and my life more with Poco.
Yeah,
as far as
like
leading
country,
that band. So it's country
folk rock
feel. Yeah. So that's the style that we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
super cool.
Yes.
If I'm ever over there, I'll stop in.
I hope you will. That
Cool.
would be really cool.
Awesome. Great talking to you.
Thanks.
And have a good show tonight. Can't wait.
Have fun tonight too.
Awesome.